Well, good afternoon, everybody. I have knives in the tempering oven, so while we're waiting on those to get done, let's go ahead and start on the pocket knife restoration. Now, if you saw the other video about this thing, this knife is over 100 years old. Very good quality, very good pocket knife. Spring still has some snap to it. And it is a, where's it at? On this blade over here. Spencer Barrett, and I cannot make out the top line. And I can't make out where it was made at. When I get it all cleaned up and get it buffed out, I'll probably be able to see that. Now, the only thing wrong with this knife is the scales, the handles was broke. Most of these is missing on this side. Now, I tried to warm it and get it all off in one piece, but it is so brittle that it's going to break. So I'm going to go ahead and take this side off. It's going to break, but I will send you back the pieces so you'll have them. And I'm going to show you all how I'm going to approach this project. Take that off. Take that off. Alright, now those scales was glued on with some kind of glue. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they used way back then. But I'm going to saturate it down with some of this. Now this will take off super glue, epoxy, almost anything. See, I don't want much of it to get on the blade, so we'll just go ahead and open it up. Now this thing is sharp as it is. It's just like it's carrying sharp, just like that. So let's go ahead and put some of this on there. And what I'm trying to do is clean off the old glue. Because this is brass. So clean it off good, then I'll put it on the wire wheel, and then I'll put it on the buffer and clean it up real good before I even cut the new pieces. I'll let it sit for just a minute. And thank you again, I think I said this before, for trusting me with such a family treasure, family heirloom. The little wire brush, work that stuff in. As you can probably hear it, it's raining again. The hurricane, tropical storm, whatever it is, getting real close to us. But I heard that we have been dropped from the warning here where I live, which is always a good thing. And according to the radar, we might get a little rain, might get a little wind, we might not. But of course the news is hyping, hype. They're starting to close bridges, closing roads. And I have no idea why. That kind of thing is very problematic when a real storm comes through. People say, well, the last 3 times y'all did all this and hyped all this stuff up, that we ain't worried about this one. and it may be a real storm that we really got to worry about. But anyway, that's just me talking. Alright, most of that's off of there. Yeah, wire brusher, the big wire wheel will take the rest of it off. And we'll do the same thing on this side over here. Let it sit for just a minute. Work it in. And of course, at the very end, I'll polish the whole thing out. A little thicker on this side, so I'm going to let it sit for just a few minutes. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to keep working this down and get all of it off I can. Then I'll take it over to the wire wheel and clean it up real good. And I'll show you that step here in just a few minutes. Now I have wrapped the blades double paper towel. Make sure I can hold it and not cut myself. Now let me get my safety glasses. And we're going to crank up the wire wheel and smooth this off good and clean it up a little bit. Alright, this is going to take a good amount of time to get it all off of there. Push that pin out just a little bit. And we'll talk about the pins here in a little while. It pushed it out, but no big deal. I'll put it back. Alright, I'm just going to keep on cleaning, and when I get to the next step, I'll show you that. Now, what I've decided to do, this is very, very fragile. I can tell by just working with it. This is goop off. Cut off a water bottle and filled it. I'm going to soak it in there for about 30 minutes or so, because all that excess glue that was in there, mainly around the pins, try to dissolve it off of there, because I am not going to even attempt to take those pins out, because they've been in there for so many years. I'm quite sure they'll break coming out, and I'll destroy them, or I don't know if I can get anything to replace them. So just going to let this soak for a while. What that will do also on the inside there where the blades go, that'll clean that out. Anything that might be in there, any kind of gunk or anything. So we'll give it about a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And take it off. take some sandpaper and do it. And this is going to be a 99% hand job. Not going to be the wire wheel on the buffer. That's not going to work. So do it all by hand. Let's see. Let me put this somewhere where I'm sure it won't fall over. Alright, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Alright, we're going to call it part 1 on the pocket knife rebuild. All the old glue is off. Nice and clean and smooth. Next step will be I'm going to make a template. Get some cardboard and make a template for each side. And like I said, I'm not going to pull these pins out. Now the old handles, the pins came through. The way I'm going to do it, the pins will still be there, but they're not going to come through. And I'll start out with a piece of regular notebook paper, and then I'll go to cardboard, and then I will select the handle material. There we go. That's done for today. I'm going to go in. Everybody's worried to death about this little storm. One of the rogue sites said it may take a turn to the north towards us. If it does, I don't really care. I mean, it's not a big deal. Everybody's making it such a big deal and hyping it, so oh well, never mind. I'm really enjoying this, and I'll get back on this tomorrow. And I thank y'all for watching. I thank you for your support. And we'll talk tomorrow. Alright, let's get back on this pocket knife rebuild. I guess this will be part 2. I hadn't put part 1 up yet. May put them all together, we'll see. Alright, I've got it cleaned up. I did not have the camera on. I already cut one set of handles. They didn't come out like I wanted them to. So, I've got some more. I'm going with a little bit prettier stag on this one. I don't have any bone that is suitable. I have some that's big enough, but it's cracked, and I don't want to put cracked bone, so we're going to go with stag. It's a good chance that's what was on there. And over the years, this it yellowed, or it may have been that way when it was new. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's going to look pretty. Now, when I took the handles off, I took some of this. This removed super glue and epoxy and all kind of stuff. Took a good while to get it all off of there and get it smooth. Some really fine sandpaper and cleaned it good. Now, this first set of handles didn't work like I wanted, like I said, but because I goofed it up. But they fit perfect. So I'm just going to use that as a template and trace them on here. I almost didn't have a piece of stag big enough, wide enough, but I did. Get it lined up just right. Where did my handy dandy marker go? There it is. Mark them out. Like that. It'll be close, but it'll work. Then I'll take them over to the metal cutting bandsaw and cut them out over there. double check myself here. Okay. Just like that, and I'll leave it a little bit big so I can go back and file it down. And I'll show you some more here in a minute. Now, I've got them cut to the rough shape. Now they're going to be much thicker than the old one was, but not that thick. I'm going to put this on the grinder and take it down and get it all shaped. Now this is what will take the longest, is getting it fitted just perfect, just like these were. But that's okay. That's part of it. I'll show you what they look like when I get them ground down. Now I have made a paper template, and I've marked out to where the pins are. Just going to make a mark, and then we'll take it to the drill press and recess those spaces there for to fit down over the pins. So the pins aren't actually going to hold anything. The epoxy will actually hold it. One is actually missing from here on this side, but it's okay. All these did were they held on that little thin that was on there. Straight here. Okay, that one goes there. Line it up just right. This is not extremely hard to do. It's just time consuming, but it is very, very relaxing for me. I'm not in a big hurry. The end result is worth everything you put into it. I moved it. There we go. I'm actually going to recess these holes a little bit, teeny bit bigger than what they are now, so that way they'll fit first time. Just like that. So this is where I got to be careful, is on this bottom edge. That's where I goofed up over here. Because this pin and this pin actually holds these liners to the spring. And there's a pin here in this bolster that holds it all. That's what holds it together. These three pins right here. And that's pretty standard on most pocket knives, even today. Alright, we'll go to the drill press and we'll look again here in a little bit. Alright, last step for tonight. Mix up some epoxy. I've got the liners cleaned up real good, roughed up a little bit with some sandpaper. I'll show you what else I did here in just a minute. I have a lot of time to work with this. And here I put two little wedges where the blades go, because this brass is very, very, very soft. When I get the epoxy on and clamp it, I don't want it to bend in. I tried to do that on the other set. I'm using a little brush because I don't want it all over everything. I guarantee you I'll get some of it on me. Little tiny thin coat on this side over here. Not much. Working fairly quickly. Turn it over. Now I'll take some more of this thickness out after this dries good. And I will add a little bit more jigging to it, and we'll go through all that tomorrow. Or tomorrow night or sometime or another. This is going to have to sit overnight and dry very, very, very good. Okay, up on there. Get it fitted on there. Put a clamp back here. Clamp up here. And before it sets, take this rag here and wipe some of that off. That's going to seep down there in my wedges, and I don't want them epoxied in too. Not to where I can't get them out. Wipe off some of the excess. Same thing on the spine. There we go. See there? I told you I'd get it all over. It's all over my hands. Alright, and like I said, I'll take some more of this thickness out of there after it dries. Just like that. See y'all tomorrow. Alright, let's see if this camera will work now. The battery was almost dead. Maybe that's why it did that. We'll see. Now, while I was fooling with that, I went ahead and put some jigging on the handles. On this side, I put my maker's mark, which was requested, and some jigging. Now the purpose for jigging on these knives is to help you grip it and to make it look good. Now what I'm going to do, the first part of the staining process, I've got some very dark walnut stain. I'll take another one of my high-tech tools, a stick, and then the jigging, and on my maker's mark, I'm going to drop in some real dark stain. Like this, and let it sit a couple hours, or an hour anyway, because I want that jigging to stand out. Like that. runs a little bit like that, that's okay. Just wipe it down. A little bit more in that one. Like that. Couple right in there. I was going to show y'all how I did the jigging until the camera goofed up. But show you still. Take your rotary tool, a little tiny cutoff wheel, and just very, it's not cut deep, just a little bit, just put in a little indentation, just like that. That's the way I did that. Same on my maker's mark. Now, I couldn't put the USA because I don't have the little attachment that goes to the rotary tool, where I can really get in there and do it. But that's how it's done. Oh, I'll turn it that way so you can see it. Now when this sits for a few minutes, I'll wipe it lightly, and it'll smear some, and that's fine. And then I'll go back over it when this dries a little bit. I'll go back over it with a lighter golden oak stain, which will actually give it the color that it had before, or close to it. And then I'll do this side the same way, and in the end I'll put a coat of lacquer all over it to protect it and make it shine. Now down in here, I had no end of trouble cleaning that thing out, because when I put the epoxy on the handles, a little bit of it dripped down and some of it came against the blades. And I use these little tools here, razor knife, eye loop to see it, but I finally got it out there. Let's see, right there. Alright, let's go ahead and wipe this real lightly. Okay, see there? Some of it soaked in enough and some of it didn't. I'll put just a little bit more. Like that. Let it sit for a little while longer. Now I'll go ahead and interject right here. This is Monday, the 10th. If anybody tried to call or text me in the last couple of days and I didn't answer you, my phone had all but quit. And I'm not a techno guy, I can't fix all that kind of stuff. And Ricky Jr. was over yesterday and worked on it, did something to it. I don't know what he did to it. He did that for about 10 minutes and got it straightened out. There was something in there that was clogged up, or I don't know what. He told me what it was, but I don't, no idea. Anyway, if you called me or texted me or sent me a message and I didn't get it, try me again. It's working fine now. Well, sometimes I've answered an email on my phone. I had several inquiries about knives. I thought I answered on email on the phone, and apparently it never went through. So I went back with the big computer and try to re-answer everybody. So if you try to ask about a knife or something like that, if there were several, get back with me, and I'll use the big computer in the house, because that one works much better. Laptop works okay out here, but it's very temperamental. One day it works real nice, fast. The next day it's got the same signal, but it won't work. And that's just because it's old, is what the kids tell me. But it works good enough for me for now. There we go. There's a jigging on that side. I'm going to set this down right here somewhere, maybe like that. And let that soak in real good. Then I'll show you what it looks like with this coat on there. Then we'll be ready to lacquer. When the lacquer dries, we'll be ready to do something else. Almost done. It won't take much longer. And I've got one more thing I'm going to do on it. I've got to get in touch with the owner right quick and find out some information. And I'll show you that at the very, very end. Let's see if this camera will turn off this time. Alright, y'all. Let's take a look at the pocket knife project finished. I spent all day today getting finished up. And we just had a thunderstorm come through here. Boy howdy, did it rain. It hadn't rained that hard in a long time. Not even the last little tropical storm thing. I mean, to tell you, it rained. But gone now. It's all good. Now you want to take a look at the pocket knife? There you go. Come out a little bit darker than what I thought it would. And the stain did not cover the jigging like I wanted it to, so I cleaned it all off again. And took just a little tiny bit of black paint and put some paint in there. And then restained the handle. 2 coats of lacquer, it's all dry now. It is sharp. See? Now the blades, I didn't do anything to them. All I did was took a piece of steel wool and wiped them down good and oiled them. Put some oil on them. I didn't sharpen them because they're already sharp. It's not going to be a carry knife anyway. So just clean them up good. Oil the hinges real good. And I think it came out really, really good. Now my friend Phil, I hope you like this. Now I mentioned before that this knife is over 100 years old. This was Phil's great-grandfather's. And it's back when they built knives. That's a good one. Now I decided to go ahead and add one more thing to it. Now I chatted with Phil earlier. I didn't talk to him, I chatted with him. His grandfather's name was Jesse Royal Butler. So I made a little leather sheath for it. J.R. Butler. Put a pair of eagles down there. Maker's mark on the back. Just something to keep it in. Something to store it in. What do y'all think? Now hot dipped and hot oil and mink oiled it real good. I think it came out pretty good. Let's see, let's get a good look at the letters. Now Phil, I hope you're happy with that. Very relaxing project for me. I really enjoyed doing that. that'll be on the way back to you here in a couple days, next time I go to the post office. If anybody has an old pocket knife like this, or a fixed blade knife, or anything you want redone, just send me an email, send me a picture, and we'll talk about it. Won't be as bad as you think. Now, upcoming projects. We got some stuff laid out over here to the right. I have a chicken chopper cleaver. Anybody remember the last chicken chopper I made? It's been a long time. I have a cleaver laid out for chickens. I have a oyster knife in stainless steel laid out. A couple of J-Null skinners. And I have went off the deep end again, y'all. I'm going to sponsor a young man on a Instagram outdoor channel. I'm going to send him a mini skinner and a large fillet knife to advertise for me. Now, I am not familiar with Instagram at all, so somebody tell me where I can go get one. You got to go buy an Instagram, or is it something you download, or I don't know. I'll ask the kids. I have no idea. But anyway, I'm going to sponsor his channel. I'm going to be his knife sponsor, as I am for Slumber Cat Outdoors and the Regular Dude Fishing channel and J-Null Zero Homestead. And we'll see what happens there. Maybe I'll get some more business out of it. That's the plan. So I'll get started on those tomorrow morning. Because it's late in the day now. It's after 4 o'clock. And I've got to go in and start getting supper prepared. Well, I'm not going to cook it. I'm just going to get everything out for I was told to do what I was told to do. Put it that way. Because if I cook it, nobody will eat it except me. So hope y'all enjoyed this project. I sure did. And I will see y'all in a couple days with something else. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. I'll see you later. Oh, and I finally got my hair cut. Think about that.